I understand. Got it. Thank you. Hold on, hold on. Took forever, man. Thank you, gentlemen. Greetings, family. Welcome to another one of your Frank26 UB2Bs. It is the 9th of February 2026. We are KTFalways.com, which stands for Keep Me Father. I greet you. I greet you in the love of our Heavenly Father, the agape love. Everything that I say to you is just strictly my opinion. We're here to study the Iraqi dinar. Everything I say to you is just in my opinion. This is a speculative investment. There's nothing solid. There's no date. There's no rate. Before we do anything, I always pray, would you join me? Abba, Heavenly Father, I come to you by the blood of your Son Jesus through the Holy Spirit, asking for strength in what I'm about to do as I give you honor and glory in all that I do. You know, Father, sin is pleasurable, but only for a season. This is my last season on this earth. I am ready to suffer for you. I never have. I love you and I appreciate you. As human beings, we all fall in love with the darkness, but I appreciate your light. I appreciate you helping me when I'm tired. You know, Father, when you created the universe, boom, it could have been chaotic. It could have been it could have been very strange, but the universe is beautiful. You created the planets, the stars, everything in its order. What are the odds that it came out the way it did? Those odds are those odds are you. I believe that you're my light. I believe with all my heart and soul that there's no darkness found in heaven, is there? No, only your light. And I want to be in your light always. I want you to resist temptation. I want to forgive. I want to love. I don't want to hate. To hate is a casualty. And I don't want to hurt anybody with hate. Prepare me in what I'm about to do. It's not going to be easy. But with you, I can do anything. It is in the name of your Son, Jesus, by the Holy Spirit, that I pray to you, Heavenly Father. Amen. 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 Greetings, family. Welcome to another one of your Frank26 UB2Bs. It's been a very difficult day for me. And I'm glad that, it's coming almost to an end. What's the title of your UB2B? I think it's the rats are jumping off the ship. I have some things to say to you and share with you that you don't know. But before I do, I want to show you maybe 3 videos. They're only about a minute long, minute and a half. But it's going to set the stage for what I'm about to do tonight. Please enjoy. Is it lined up? I can't hear you. Can you look? Yes. Thank you. I can't hear you. Yes, 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 yes. Did you catch that? Because I'm so unfortunate I was talking and I don't think you heard what I wanted you to hear. So I'm going to go back. Listen to what he says about the American dollar. They're asking him questions about it. He says the dollar's strong because of what I'm doing. And then listen to what he says. It's almost as if it's one of our lectures. Anyways, I want something else came in and it interfered with what I was doing with you. But anyways, so what is that you just saw? Well, that's President Trump. And what is he saying? He's saying that countries abuse the American dollar. And that's not good for American citizens. Countries use the American dollar instead of their own currency to buy, sell, and trade with. And that's not good for the American dollar or for the American citizens. He points out that you got these Asian countries, China, what was the other one? He said Japan. They don't play fair. Yeah. Same thing with Iraq. Yeah. They don't play fair. They keep a low rate for their currency, and they just devastate everybody, themselves too. Makes no sense. So what you just heard him say right there, yeah, tell them to stop. What you just heard right there is the basis of our UB2B for tonight. Trump wants countries to play fair with their currency against ours and basically stop using ours. You just heard it from him, word for word. And Iraq, you're not playing fair. Now, the title of your UB2B is that the rats are jumping off the ship. Yeah. What do we need in order to be successful with this monetary reform of Iraq? Security and stability from the cockroaches. Although the media is calling them rats. Fine. Cockroaches and rats, the same thing. Listen to the following.
Secretary Scott Bessent describes how the Trump administration managed to collapse the Iranian economy. What America's next Herman has more.
Last month, the White House announced its maximum pressure campaign on Iran, designed to collapse its already buckling economy. That was Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent at the Economic Club of New York back in March last year, speaking about the Trump administration's plans to collapse the Iranian economy and, quote, make Iran broke again. And those plans have finally come to fruition, as Bessent noted when speaking to the Senate Banking Committee this week. It came to a swift and I would say grand culmination in December when one of the largest banks in Iran went under. There was a run of the bank. The central bank didn't print money. The Iranian currency went into free fall. Inflation exploded. And as we have seen the Iranian people out on the street. Although the Biden administration had also looked to put pressure on Iran, weak sanctions enforcement left Iran with workable financial escape routes. But Bessent said by tightening sanctions and actually enforcing them, the Treasury managed to choke off Iran's ability to acquire, hold, or exchange U.S. dollars. And once they were cut off from reliable access to dollars, Iranian banks and companies quickly became unable to pay off their dollar-based debts or provide liquidity. Confidence plummeted and led to the bank run Bessent referenced. These calculated moves all came as a part of President Trump's maximum pressure campaign on Iran to force Iran's leaders to come to the table on their nuclear development, missile and drone programs, and financing of terrorism. And it seems that could happen soon. As Bessent says, Iranian leaders are feeling the pressure. The good news, Senator, is that we have seen, and we can see it with our FinCEN, we have seen the Iranian leadership wiring money out of the country like crazy. So the rats are leaving the ship. And that is a good sign that they know the end may be near. President Trump has since said his administration intends to hold more talks on Iran early next week, following indirect dialogue with the Islamic Republic Friday, which the president described as very good. Max Herman, One American News. Secretary Scott Bessent described.
The first one they couldn't hear because your microphone's here and you held it up here.
You couldn't hear the
The
first one?
first one they couldn't hear, so you might want to do that one again.
I will redo it again because it's important that you hear it. So you want to stick around then? All right. We're going to go back and show you the first one. But let me comment on this one. So what do we need for the new exchange rate to feel safe to come out? We need security and stability from the cockroaches, from the rats that are jumping ship like crazy. You ever see a ship on fire? Oh, you can see hundreds of rats jumping off the ship. Yeah, that's where that comes from. Rats live on ships. So it turns out that Iran is toothless. Iran, the reason why we don't have a new exchange rate in Iraq. And who's dealing with Iran? Trump. Who's dealing with Iraq? Trump. And what did you just hear? That the cockroaches, the rats are running like crazy. Now, before that, I tried to show you something else, but you're telling me you didn't get a chance to hear it. So please listen carefully. They're asking him about the American dollar.
So he said, if you build here, you don't have to pay tariffs. That's great. Mr. President, with the current value of the dollar, do you think it's declined too much? No, I think it's great. I mean, the value of the dollar, look at the business one day. hell with them because they always wanted to devalue their yen. You know that? The yen and the yuan. And they always want to devalue it. They devalue. And they said, not fair that you devalue because it's hard to compete when they devalue. But they always fought, no, our dollar's screwed.
Some of your own administration officials have labeled Alice.
I know it is ABC fake news, this one. She hasn't asked me a good question in years. I think a nice woman, but I don't really.
So that the man has guts, you know. It's like somebody told Trump, you only have this much time to live. So he's taking advantage of every day. The first video shows Donald Trump talking the same way that I talk. The same lecture that I've given you for such a long time. Countries have to play fair with their currency against the American dollar. Now what? No, there's going to be more videos. It's been a long, long day, man. Countries have to play fair with the American dollar, and that's what Trump is doing with almost every nation on this planet Earth. By the way, we now have full capacity for the Venezuela Sombrerano. If you want the Venezuela Boulevard, go find it. I don't sell that. We're selling the one that Trump, the Venezuela Soberano. If you are interested, you have to call me. It is not on our price list and the banners inside of ktfos.com. No, it is in my possession. You have to call me directly and ask the prices for it. Why? Because I don't know how long I'm going to sell it. Now, this video establishes the foundation of our UB2B for tonight. I've been telling you forever that the tariffs are working inside of Iraq, and they're working almost in fact, every nation. Cuba, ¿qué pasó? Huh? ¿Qué pasó contigo hoy? What happened with you today? Tell me, Cuba. Well, we ran out of jet fuel. You what? Well, we ran out of jet fuel. You also ran out of just regular heating fuel, didn't you? Yeah, we ran out of everything. You want to work with Trump? No. But we got no choice. We got no one else. Yeah, now you got it. And the same thing with Iran. Now, here you see where the American dollar is being abused. And here you see how it's being taken care of. Where's my fly swatter thing? There's so many of these gnats here. You got the, oh, I got one here. Please forgive me, family. I should have done this UB2B inside because I've got too many, the plants are flowering and it causes them to do that. So you're going to hear a few snaps here, zaps here and there. I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was saying. Cuba, you ran out of fuel, jet fuel. Yeah. What are you going to do? I guess we have to talk to Trump. That's right. Same thing with Iran. Iran, what are you doing? We have no choice. We capitulate. We give up. We surrender. Okay. And that's great, isn't it, family? Yes, it is, for the monetary reform that we study. Now, that's one video I wanted to show you. Allow me to show you another one. I don't know if you got to hear the second video. Did you hear the second one? Man, I don't even know.
Secretary Scott Bessent describes how the Trump administration managed to collapse the Iranian economy. One America's Max Herman has more.
Last month, the White House announced its maximum pressure campaign on Iran, designed to collapse its already buckling economy. That was Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent at the Economic Club of in New York back in March last year, speaking about the Trump administration's plans to collapse the Iranian economy and, quote, make Iran broke again. And those plans have finally come to fruition, as Bassett noted when speaking to the Senate Banking Committee this week. It came to a swift and, I would say, grand culmination in December when one of the largest banks in Iran went under. There was a run of the bank. The central bank had to print money. The Iranian currency went into free fall. Inflation exploded, and hence we have seen the Iranian people out on the street. Although the Biden administration had also looked to put pressure on Iran, weak sanctions enforcement left Iran with workable financial escape routes. But Bassett said by tightening sanctions and actually enforcing them, the Treasury managed to choke off Iran's ability to acquire, hold, or exchange U.S. dollars. And once they were cut off from reliable access to dollars, Iranian banks and companies quickly became unable to pay off their dollar-based debts or provide liquidity. Confidence plummeted and led to the bank run Bassett referenced. These calculated moves all came as a part of President Trump's maximum pressure campaign on Iran to force Iran's leaders to come to the table on their nuclear development, missile and drone programs, and financing of terrorism. And it seems that could happen soon, as Bassett says Iranian leaders are feeling the pressure. The good news, Senator, is that we have seen, and we can see it with our fencing, we have seen the Iranian leadership wiring money out of the country like crazy. So the rats are leaving the ship. And that is a good sign that they know the end may be near. President Trump has since said his administration intends to hold more talks on Iran early next week, following indirect dialogue with the Islamic Republic Friday, which the president described as very good. Max Herman, One American News.
Now, that was two videos that I... Hush. That's two videos, and I'd like to show you another one. And this one follows the same sequence of events.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is rushing to Washington tomorrow to meet with President Trump a full week earlier than originally planned over concerns about a possible nuclear deal with Iran. Our chief foreign correspondent Trey Inks is reporting live out of Tel Aviv for us at this hour. Hi, Trey.
Sandra, good afternoon. Indirect nuclear talks are set to resume this week between the United States and Iran in Oman. Iranian officials have ruled out discussing their country's ballistic missile program, but do appear open to finding a diplomatic solution to avoid a large war.
A new round of nuclear negotiations, which has begun in Oman with the assistance and support of our friends, presents a very good opportunity to resolve this issue in a fair, logical, equitable, and mutually acceptable manner. We are seeking to secure our rights on the basis of the Non-Proliferation Treaty, including on the issue of enrichment and the lifting of unjust sanctions.
U.S. military assets continue to flow into the Middle East as diplomatic efforts with Iran unfold. Open-source intelligence trackers indicate that more than 112 U.S. Air Force C-17 transport planes have now arrived or are on their way to the region. The USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier and strike group also remains in the Arabian Sea. Over the weekend, the vessel received a visit from U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner following their initial negotiations in Oman.
In a phase here that we've seen play out before with the Trump administration, and that is when he has a potential conflict with an adversary, is offering them a diplomatic way out of that before the execution of it. We saw it back prior to the June operation, Midnight Hammer, to destroy Iran's nuclear capability.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will travel to Washington tomorrow to meet with President Trump at the White House. The pair are expected to discuss what will happen with Iran. Sandra?
Trey Inks out of Tel Aviv.
So, the first video explains that Trump's not happy with the way the dollar's being treated. The second video explains that it is Iran and Iraq that are basically abusing the American dollar more than anyone else. And now you see this video.
Last summer, Iran certainly seems more favorable towards reaching a deal of some kind. Why don't we take a listen?
Iran looks like it wants to make a deal very badly. We have to see what that deal is. But I think Iran looks like they would make a deal very badly, as they should. Last time they decided maybe not to do it, but I think they probably feel differently. We'll see what the deal is.
The Prime Minister's original visit was supposed to be February 18th. Now reports are saying it could come as early as this upcoming Wednesday. And the Prime Minister's office did say in a statement that Netanyahu believes that any negotiations must include limits on Iran's ballistic missiles and an end to support for the Iranian access. Meanwhile, the Iranian foreign minister pushed back in an interview saying that Iran's missile program would never be up for negotiation. Now, as for the president's stance, his stance has been very clear, dating back to last year, and that stance is that the Iranian regime should make a deal regarding their nuclear program. The president has demonstrated via Operation Midnight Hammer and basically Operation Absolute Resolve that he means what he says, and he's emphasized that if Iran should make a deal, but if they don't, things could get very bad and very bad quickly for the Iranian regime. The administration believes that the world's #1 state sponsor of terror can never be allowed to possess a nuclear weapon or have the capacity to build one.
Amen.
Started for the president, and he emphasized that over the weekend. Why don't we take a listen?
One thing right up front, no nuclear weapons. If we could have made that deal 2 years ago, we would have made that deal, but they weren't willing to do that. Now they are willing to do it.
As of right now, there is none that we've seen at this point in time, Alicia. No specific news of a follow-up negotiation meeting involving Witkoff and Kushner with the Iranian side as well. But the president did sign an executive order this past Friday reaffirming the ongoing national emergency with respect to Iran, and this order established a process to impose tariffs on countries that acquire any goods or services from Iran to protect the security, foreign policy, and the economy of the United States. It's certainly a very fluid situation, Alicia, but the bottom line is that the president's perspective on the situation doesn't seem to have changed at all, Alicia. They war last summer, Iran's
That's right.
Lewis was replaced with
one more.
CFO. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent describes how the Trump administration managed to collapse the Iranian economy. When America's Max Herman has more.
Last month, the White House announced its maximum pressure campaign on Iran, designed to collapse its already buckling economy.
That was Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent at the Economic Club of New York back in March last year, speaking about the Trump administration's plans to collapse the Iranian economy and, quote, make Iran broke again. And those plans have finally come to fruition, as Bessent noted when speaking to the Senate Banking Committee.
It came to a swift and I would say grand culmination in December when one of the largest banks in Iran went under. There was a run of the bank. The central bank had to print money. The Iranian currency went into free fall. Inflation exploded. And hence we have seen the Iranian people out on the street.
Although the Biden administration had also looked to put pressure on Iran, weak sanctions enforcement left Iran with workable financial escape routes. But Bessent said by tightening sanctions and actually enforcing them, the Treasury managed to choke off Iran's ability to acquire, hold, or exchange U.S. dollars. And once they were cut off from reliable access to dollars, Iranian banks and companies quickly became unable to pay off their dollar-based debts or provide liquidity. Confidence plummeted and led to the bank run Bessent referenced. These calculated moves all came as a part of President Trump's maximum pressure campaign on Iran to force Iran's leaders to come to the table on their nuclear development, missile and drone programs, and financing of terrorism. And it seems that could happen soon, as Bessent says Iranian leaders are feeling the pressure.
The good news, Senator, is that we have seen, and we can see it with our FinCEN, we have seen the Iranian leadership wiring money out of the country like crazy. So the rats are leaving the ship, and that is a good sign that they know the end may be near.
President Trump has since said his administration intends to hold more talks on Iran following indirect dialogue with the Islamic Republic Friday, which the president described as very good. Max Herman, One American News.
I don't know how very good it was, but Iran knows what Trump wants. Of course, they don't want anything to do with it. Iraq knows what Trump wants. And Maliki and his people don't want anything to do with it. Give me a second. They just sent another. This is massive. Look at that. Give me a second. Again, I appreciate the heads up, but like I tell you, every time that you go into this panic state, I tell you to wait for the smoke to clear. So once it does, we'll talk about this again. God bless you guys. All right, family. This is your report for today. How far back? No, that's that video right there. Okay. We're going to pick up around 9, 10 o'clock in the evening last night for our next report. Mr. Frank, they're putting all over the news today about Sudani resigning his seat. Remember, we told you about 3 or 4 days ago that he was resigning his seat so that he could be either the prime minister or receive an executive position in the cabinet. Remember, we told you this? That's what they're doing right now. And you know what? We're gonna go from 9 o'clock, 10. We're gonna go to 9 o'clock this morning. Let's just go. Let's just jump straight to it. The television news from Channel 8 from Kurdistan this morning is saying exactly what we said to you yesterday, Mr. Frank. Now we both agreed that only that there would be the president settled, and then the prime minister would be selected. Well, so far the Kurds are saying that they're not agreeing with some things. It's important that we both point out that this is a holdup. Prime minister, they're looking forward to likely it. Yeah. I know, but it won't be Maliki. At least we hope it's not. But they're really trying to get him in there. So we're waiting to see what Sudani says today. He's getting together a larger block. So Sudani was working last night on putting together a larger block to go against Maliki. Then I respond, "Good morning, gentlemen. That's great news to see that your calculations, your ideas about the delay being on purpose. Yeah, I think so because look what's happening with Maliki. I know what he's doing behind the scenes. He's trying to stir trouble and he's trying to make deals and he's paying people off billions of dollars. But where's the money? He didn't pay anybody off, did he? Maliki, whatever deals that were made behind closed doors, thank God it was not successful for him. It was successful for us. Now I see this new candidate that they're going to be coming in. We don't need to talk about that. And then I send them one of the videos that I just showed you. I said, gentlemen, please enjoy this video because this is what Donald Trump is doing in order to bring stability and security to your country, or better yet, to your monetary reform. That's the combination of events that is important to me right now. Trump is that's what Trump is paying attention to right now, not Maliki. They respond. The television has this because the Kurds will not name the president. Yeah, maybe it's a stall tactic, like you said. The television has this about the Kurds. They said that they will not name the president yet. So the MPs of parliament are trying to push this by saying that Al Musawi, that's the guy. The MPs have no opinion but to go. No, excuse me. The MPs have no option but to go to the national arena to choose the president of the republic. That's where they got that name from, Frank. The next thing, the TV outlets, mostly, the ones that are owned by Maliki. Yeah, there's like about 10 to 12 of them that are owned by Maliki's people, and they're always putting out the lies. NBC, ABC, CBS, MNBC, PBS, all this garbage, the same thing like they got. The TV outlets, mostly, the ones that are owned by Maliki, the fake news that we're getting all the time, they're trying to paint a picture of unrest. They're saying that there are protesters. They're saying that they're doing this, they're doing that, it's causing trouble. The protesting it, but what we're doing is we're protesting what they're doing against us. But it's basically the ones that were making that were making money off of us in the black market. That's who we're mad about. The people that were making money off of us on the black market. That they can't make money anymore. They can't steal the money anymore. There's no gap. The black market gap is literally disappearing. There's no gap anymore. There's no money anymore for them with these terrorists, and it's costing them. And they're trying to make it like it's the government's fault. Exactly right, gentlemen. That's exactly right. Maliki had no power, no voice, no money, no weapons, no friends. So whatever it is that he's doing, he's just doing it because he's desperate. And what he's going to do, he's going to say, I'm the prime minister. He's going to butt in there and get, I'm the one that's going to be the prime minister, and that's all there is to it. Expect him to say that. We like the video, Frank. It's encouraging. And they send a whole lot of other stuff. Then I say, that's correct, gentlemen. That is correct, gentlemen. Just like the video that I sent you, they're saying that the rats are jumping off of the ship because the ship's on fire. There's no food for them. There's no money for them anymore. They're running for their lives. They're running, and that's the goal of Donald Trump. They scared the living daylights out of you forever. It's our turn. There's no money. There's no food. There's no nothing. No, they can't do anything against you. They're running for their lives, and that is the goal of Donald Trump, to bring security and stability into your country against Iran, that has tortured you for decades and has not allowed you to advance. To me, for me, anyways, this is a very special, good feeling. I mean, I got a good feeling from this. Yeah, they're telling the world that the cockroaches are jumping. Well, actually, the rats are jumping, and that we are now have better control over Iran. Isn't that what we need? They're starving them out. Of course, Maliki is going to create more lies today. That's all he has left. Lies. Lies are the tools of Satan. Indeed, this is great news as far as I'm concerned, but not to my friends, and you'll see why in a minute. Mr. Frank, the Minister of Trade, is on television, and he's saying that he will not allow the prices in the markets to actually rise. This is great news for us. It caught us off guard, by surprise. They're actually saying something good for us. So how are they going to stop the prices from rising? Give us a new exchange rate. And why would they come out and say that to us? Here's the article, and you have the article in the final article thread. Here's the article that's talking about this. They're actually saying that they will not allow the prices in the market to go up, and that there be the Minister of Trade. They're trying to calm down the citizens, to let them know that it's the traders, the ones that have been stealing and making money off of the black market between the gap between the official rate and the black market rate. So they're the ones about to have a fit. It's pinching them now. It's pinching them now. but they're on TV, the minister, and that's what he told us. This is another piece of great news, isn't it? I guess, Frank. I mean, I don't know. Okay, that's what he said. He's letting the people know. He's telling all the people, the citizens, know. letting us know that they will not raise the prices for the citizens. So he's kind of doing his sole act. He's on an act. This is himself solely done, but he's out solely acting, coming out to calm us down, to calm down the people, to calm down the people. Okay. Then I respond, well, that's good news, isn't it? I mean, that's good news, gentlemen. Yeah. Here's an article that is talking about the subject of the prices not going up. And in my opinion, they're simply trying to protect the new exchange rate, and they're trying to protect the citizens' pockets from these thieves of Iran. In my opinion, so close, gentlemen. Be strong. Continuing. Then this is the article, and it's in the final article thread. Then they respond, Mr. Frank, it's not the Kurds that are holding things up. I know that. They're actually trying to do the smart thing. And if they are, doing anything to hold things up, it's because we don't have the name of the president from them yet. But when once they do give that to us, then we can have the name for the prime minister to get voted on right then, as the candidate they don't want, but they want to make sure that Maliki's not in the picture. So now through the MPs that are all crooked, they're trying to push the vote, because there are some that still want Maliki. Yeah, we said 50-50, right? But it's actually probably like about 80-20 now, maybe 90-10. 90 that don't want Maliki. His own don't want him. I guess that's what the bribe that he offered them. I guess those were the bribes that Maliki offered. Please, 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 let me in. I want to be the prime minister. I don't want, because if I'm not the prime minister, I get arrested. The Kurds are doing the wise thing, Mr. Frank. They're waiting. Yes, gentlemen, you can call this damage control of the monetary reform, of the confidence of the Iraqi citizens. That's what you can call this. Continuing. Said, yeah, I know that the Kurds are not the problem. I know the Kurds are actually cooperating with Trump. Continuing. 1:19 in the afternoon today. Television is showing that Japan is just donating $11 billion to us, to Iraq, in order to help to rebuild a project. 11 billion by Japan? 11 billion by Japan? And they say that they're coming in when they're allowed to, and they're going to open up a new car manufacturing center in Kurdistan, Japan. Also, they are going to donate 11 billion for a reconstruction project. And also, we're seeing today that the World Bank is here meeting with the Ministry of Planning, that they're going over the funding projects, and how to better implement the projects. Raise the value, stupid. But that's what the World Bank is there for right now. They are dealing with, exchange rate issues. Continuing. I say 11 billion from Japan. Interesting, gentlemen. Along with the building of the manufacturing plant. Wow. Okay. Doesn't that scream a new exchange rate to you? Doesn't it? I mean, doesn't it? Asians know how to count. No, Frank. It screams Kentucky Fried Chicken to Eddie. All right. Don't forget the mashed potatoes then. Frank, this is a summary that Omar is presenting to you again. And, he's very professional, isn't he? My goodness. By the way, I heard that somebody on the internet actually said, my source, Walking Stick. Are you serious? I'm not going to say who the person was. Look, when they abuse me, I don't care. But when they abused Omar, Sammy, Eddie, Neil, and Walking Stick, let me know. The television has this on Omar. Uh, the television has this from Omar summarizing it. Sudanese bloc submit 23 draft economic, financial, and service laws to parliament. Oh, they're busy. We have an article on this. What does this signify, Frank? The fact that we have 23 draft laws set. Well, this is a major oriented legislative push by the Reconstruction and Development Bloc, which is Sudanese bloc, in submitting 23 draft laws. I thought we needed the president. I thought we needed the prime minister. I thought we needed the parliament to open up the budget, and then we could look at these laws. Isn't that? I thought that. Didn't I think that? No, we didn't think that. No, we didn't, did we? Hmm. We said we would just bulldoze through everything. You don't want to show up. You don't want to have a quorum. You don't want to have enough people to represent yourself. Pick a finger and get out of here. We'll do it without you. Apparently. 23 draft laws. Hopefully you'll read about them. Now, what does this tell us? Well, there are many, many positive points of it, Frank. The Sudani bloc is asserting leadership. Yeah. Even though the government is in a caretaker posture and parliament is gridlocked, Sudani's bloc is showing, and they give me a bunch of examples of what Sudani's bloc is showing to the rest of the world, to the contractors. We have a full governing program. We are ready to run the next government. We are the only ones with a complete economic plan. Check, check, check. That is so true. Trump knows that. Continuing. As always, Omar, I want to thank you, sir. I want you to read this article and give me your analysis about it. It turns out the framework is pretty scared right now. They're even saying on TV that the rats are jumping off the ship at a very alarming quick pace. Iran is being stripped of its remaining power by Trump, and all of these private negotiations and all these private negotiations that were going on behind the scenes, it is possible that this was one of the deals that they made. Read this article, Omar. Tell me what you think. Yeah, well, Mr. Frank, I just read it, and actually, we saw it on television here. Something that we talked about weeks ago. Now, we want to present this also to you. This is the same mess that happened back in 2022. Now, you know what happened in 2022. I already talked to you about it. They were the ones that brought it up. Back in 2022, it took almost a year to form the government, even after they had the president and the prime minister. It took almost a year. So they want to say again, because they already brought the subject up and I've already told you about it. I tell you everything, don't I? That you need to know. So if the, well, there's your word. There it is. What's if is it adjective? I think that's, I don't know. But anyways, if, well, there's the word. If that's the case of 2022, they're not going to pull any trigger with any RV until it's an RI, gentlemen, until there's a full government. They won't do it because we have a caretaker government right now, and you can't do anything with that caretaker government. They won't do it on a caretaker government. So, like we told you, this was going to happen. They're going to delay it. The best thing to do is for us just to leave Iraq. This is getting ridiculous. Gentlemen, if that's the case, and that's the word that you have to look at, if, then this idea stinks. And it's not an idea from Trump. And trust me, if it's not Trump's idea, Sudani will not accept this. Let's see what happens, okay? But Mr. Frank, we're telling you, the same scenario from 2022. All over Eddie says, we've seen this movie before. The rich get richer, and the citizens just suffer. All right, Eddie. To which I say, no. No, you have not seen this movie before because you have never seen my president in action before in your country. Watch what happens. And once again, thank you for your input, gentlemen. I respect it. Go ahead and deal with him. And I said, I respect him. Why? So let's go ahead then and go with I am I to understand that you're trying to tell me that Maliki is telling Sudani to go away again? And Maliki is telling everyone that he's going to form the government again? Well, like I told you, if that's his idea, then his idea stinks. And it's not an idea from Trump. It's not Trump's idea. And Sudani will not accept this. He won't. So let's just see what happens. And please, calm down. But Frank, it's going to stop it. You've not seen this movie. They're not in a good mood, Neil. I'm telling my contact. And I don't blame them. But once again, when the smoke's clear, when the smoke finally does clear, Neil, they'll be in a very good mood. Here's what the television is saying. Omar typed up another summary for you, Frank, and they're going to make it, and they are going make this last for months. Oh, the delay, like 2022. Here's a here's a situation in a clean, skimmable format. Skimmable format. This is what the large image is actually trying to show us on television. It's not important, gentlemen. It's from Maliki's people, but just for the heck of it. It's an Al Samaria TV broadcast from the frame. The setting is a formal Iraqi government meeting high level officials, microphone, nameplates, and the Iraqi flag. And the date stamp reads today's date. This is presented as a current political movement. The headline at the bottom says, an ongoing crisis is sweeping the country, and it may last for months. Gentlemen, do you notice that you say it may last for months? If it may last, if this happens. Okay, as long as you know that. So, what this usually implies, based on the media context that we have, which is garbage, but what is it? Well, the Al Samira uses this type of framing when they want to make, like, here's 7 points for you, Frank. All right, Al Samira is using this media to scare the crap out of people, to lie to people. And what do you think the conclusion is? Well, we believe that there's a political deadlock. Duh. There's a political deadlock, but who wins it? Who won it? There's a political deadlock, government formation, budget disputes, along with parliamentary paralysis. Number two, a security and economic crisis is escalating. Number three, a major issue and it is expected to drag on, often tied to budget delays. Don't you understand what they're doing, gentlemen? They're hitting all your weak points. Oil revenue dispute is in dispute. Federal and Kurdistan negotiations in shambles. Currency instability. Cabinet disagreement. Yeah, okay, fine. I can make a list of bad stuff too. And then I tell them, once again, Omar, I want to thank you. Extremely impressed with the breakdown that you give me, but it doesn't sound very positive, and it doesn't add up to a hill of beans as far as I'm concerned. I keep telling you, I pray for you guys all the time, and I wait until the smoke clears. This issue with Maliki supposedly telling everybody that he's going to do the government is laughable. Trust me on this. In my opinion, if you could see, if you could see the White House right now, they're all rolling on the floor, laughing their heads off. But once again, let them talk, let them huff and puff and try to blow your house down. But none of it makes matters. None of it has any value. And I wish I could be there right now, right by your side to support you and to lift you. Every time your heart gets broken by these rats, these cockroaches, you throw up your hands and you say, I give up. And that's what they want from you, gentlemen. But you are sovereign Iraqis. You are strong Iraqis. You are Christian Iraqis. And I do not believe that God is going to let you down. And I truly believe that God is correcting the evil that has existed in your country, in your region for so long. I pray for this to be I pray for you to be strong with all of my heart and soul. I pray for you to be strong with all my heart and soul. Just look at the cockroaches, look at these rats, how they're running scared and pretending that they're making decisions of your government. It's extremely laughable, very laughable on this side of the pond. Yeah, Frank, but they did call this last week. Anybody could have called it Malik was going to be a pain in the ass. You don't think that Donald Trump was prepared for this BS? Really? Watch what happens next. Sending, sir, but let me show you something else. They say it's going to be like 2022 because they're trying to cause problems. The Bahijin refinery was caught on fire. Where is it? And who started it? It's in the north. It's in northern Iraq, Frank, 130 miles north of Baghdad. Just more chaos, just more mess. And Sudani already got the papers to extend his government. It's just like we said. They're trying to make this like 22. So is Alak. They're all traitors. They're all evil. Trust me. We trust you, Frank, Mr. Frank, but we're moving. We're leaving. There it is. We trust you, Frank, but we're moving if he signs those papers. His fingers will be broken. Look at this, you guys. Here's 15 items that have been banned from Kurdistan uh, because the companies are announcing layoffs. It's a lot. These are products, these are goods that belong to the Iraqi citizens, and they're canceling because of the issues that they're having right now, the political issues. These reports that were sent to me, I I don't want to share them. Another bad thing today: the civilian killed by gunfire at Baghdad. Today, 3 people were arrested. We thought we would send you the regular news, since today's news is not good. Thank you, gentlemen. But like I told you, I find it all to be extremely positive. Frank, Omar says, the coordination framework is really backed by Iran. So by them not being able to get Maliki in, they're going to find a way somehow or another. Yeah, but you see, this is paranoia. That's all this is that I'm reading. This is your internal fear, not mine. I have no worries whatsoever. No worries whatsoever. None. And I respect your worries. I respect your concerns, I should say, about this Maliki issue. And you're saying that we don't see this happening soon now because they're like they say they keep telling us that they're going to do what they did in 2022, and we're going to allow that, huh, gentlemen? Have we allowed anything? It's not going to be acceptable because right now it's a caretaker government, and if that's what they're going to do, I don't even want to read this. Again, I appreciate your heads up, and I tell every time, okay, and like I tell you, every time that you go into this panic state, I tell you to wait for the smoke to clear. So once it does, we'll talk about this again, gentlemen. I am torn apart, family, by people that call me that are undisciplined, and by my dear friends that I care about in Iraq who are hurting. All right, Frank. Omar is understanding what you're saying, and he's putting another summary together for you in case you're interested in what he has to say. And I said, sure, I do. So here's the gist. Gist, that's what it says. The coordination framework is talking about extending the caretaker government, which means that the current Iraqi cabinet just keeps running day to day affairs without making major changes. So basically, they won't have the power to push through the big laws. Son or sir, you just saw 23. So they won't even have the ability to push the big laws, the major policy shifts. In other words, changing in other words, changing something like a currency rate under a caretaker government is pretty unlikely since they have meant it just maintain stability. Whatever. Yeah, gentlemen. Again, I appreciate your fear, but it's not mine. 2026 is done. No. Now I want you to go and get this report for us, and we're going to stop. Okay. Look, I started out by showing you those videos because I want you to understand who's in control. I think you know. And then I share with you the pain that my friends in Iraq are suffering and going through because I want you to pray for them. And every time that you see this pain, what do I tell them? Wait till the smoke clears. And when the smoke clears, what happens? More smoke comes up. Yeah. And I know that Maliki is trying to push himself back in, which is stupid. He's not going to succeed. But right now, the next major event for the monetary reform of the Iraqi dinar is not necessarily in Iraq. It's in Iran. And I sincerely believe that it will be dealt with very quickly. Because if you heard those videos, what did Trump say? They have run out of time. Now, he'll negotiate if that's what they want to do, but they don't. They say, oh, our nuclear proliferation, our nuclear weapons, our nuclear stuff, off the table. No, absolutely not to be bargained or talked about. You don't have any nuclear stuff, stupid. Trump is actually trying to give you nuclear capability, not as a weapon, but for your country. Stupid. Did you like your Yubi-Tubi? You know, I got a lot that I want to talk about, but I'm just tired. I'm just a little tired. So I pray to God that you enjoy your Yubi-Tubi. For those of you that study the Iraqi dinar with me, for those that stick around for a little aloha, I'd like to show you the taro plant here. If you remember, I showed you that it was flowering. That's why we have all these little gnats. Well, I'd like to show you something. Watch this. Come. I'll see you tomorrow at 4, between 4 and 4:30. Well, tomorrow's Tuesday. It's our long day. We'll be tired. It's our long day. So I'll see you at 3 o'clock. We'll have fun. And then at 6 o'clock, we'll be serious. but I don't think that tomorrow we have what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something out of Iran. Let's see what happens. If you stick around for Aloha, check this out. If you remember, I showed you this. And I said, look, and this is the cover. Remember the cover that was over it? So this will dry up. And then this has a stench. Yeah, it stinks. It's got a kind of rotty flesh. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Perfect. I mean, I couldn't have done that any more perfect. But that's the rotting effect. And what's so important about this? Well, it attracts bugs to it. And when the bugs come up to the rotting effect, they pollinate it. And sure enough, it worked. Because look. Another one. I'm so happy. I said, another baby. How you doing, buddy? I said, yoga. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. What's your name? Ralph. Okay, Ralph it is. But that's the new guys that came out. Look at this time of the year, because it's winter. I'm over here. Because it's winter. Look, come here. You don't really get the colorful. Check it out. Here's an orchid that all of a sudden, look at it. Boom, 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 boom. And it opened up. What color is it? White. And that's because of the lack of light, photosynthesis. Like, for example, look at this one over here. What's this? It just opened up. White. These that are white as well, too. Anyways, I hope you had a wonderful time last night. The Super Bowl was last night, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah, I forgot. Jeez, I've been so busy today. Who won? Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I caught like about a little bit. And I'm sorry, that was the most boring Super Bowl I have ever seen. I mean, and I'm happy for the people that that won the New England, or not New England. The why can't I remember?
Patriots?
No, they're the ones that
Seahawks.
no, yeah, the Seahawks. Why does it keep slipping out of my mind? But anyways, yeah, all of you that were Seahawk fans, I'm sure you celebrated and you were happy. But golly, what a boring game. I fell asleep, I think. I'm not too sure. I don't even know what happened. Go Lions. Actually, go away. They lost. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. We'll have fun.